Hello everyone, welcome to our second YouTube video. In this video I will show you how we create designs for our emails. We will be doing that in Figma. This is just the software here. And if you enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. And with that being said, I would say that we dive straight into it. So this is the design we will be modeling today. So you can see it's just a send, it's a logo up here. Then we have a header image, it's kind of a gradient up here, and then some more information, and then you have another incentive, another CTA. Before we start, I want to show you a few tools that would just make everything easier and help you get these designs. So I opened the website here, and as you can see from the website, we have white, black, and yellow. That are the three main components, maybe a bit of green in here, but usually it's black, white, and yellow. And then you have a color picker, and you can just, for example, go here, and then you can see that the color code is added. And then you just, in Figma, do a rectangle, draw it like this. And then down here, if you add the fill, and then you can just paste the color code in it. That is really helpful if you work with a brand that has different colors, so that way you can always go straight back to the color and not have to open up a browser again and do everything again. Then another tool is if you want to use logos, for example, or use pictures, you download them, and then maybe they get downloaded as this format, WEBG, P in the end. And with that is a problem that some softwares can't really handle that, so I would then convert it to JPEG. And with this JPEG picture, I would then go here and remove the background a bit to have a transparent background and kind of make the designs look cleaner that way. For example, in this font here, you can see that this one has a transparent background, so I can move it around, and otherwise this would be white here and then it would be overlaying over the text, which is not really wanted. And the last tool that I personally like is My Fonts. And what you can do here is actually you can analyze fonts. So if we do exactly that, so for example right now we open snipping tool, and then we create a picture like this, and we just copy it and then go over here, enter it, then it is identifying the text, and then we will identify the font. And for example here you can see, okay, manufacturer expanded black, and then you just download the font, install it, and so on. I can make a separate video about all these tools. Right now we want to get into designing, but this is really great if you want to have the same brand identity, so that the text matches what your logo is and what you have on your website. So first things first, we will draw a frame. I personally like to use a width of 750. This is really great for email designs, and I personally am a really great fan of doing mobile first and then optimizing for desktop second, because over 70% of our customers open the emails via phone, so it's really important to really have it set for them that they can view it properly on their phone. Then the next thing is we want to copy the logo. You need to download it first. Just download, Google the brand and then logo behind it, download the image, then convert it to JPEG, then remove the background, and then you can insert it here. So the whole thing I showed earlier. Then one good tool is this tool here. So then we will line everything horizontally in the center. So this is actually, so you can see here it goes to the center. I like to do Y of 11, so we have a bit of space at the top, but not too much. And then the next thing, if you can see it here, we have this gradient. So for that, we actually just make a rectangle, and maybe let's go down here. And then at the color, you can see fill, and we want to choose a linear gradient. And this gradient, you have different options. You can also make radial, you can make it angular, diamond shape, everything, but I like to work with linear gradients. And then you have a start color here. This is also highlighted at the top. And you have a bottom color at the bottom, of course. So here for the start color, let's just do the color picker, and because we already imported the color, we can just select it here, and then at the bottom I would just leave it here. You can make it either go white or any other color, or you can just make it transparent. That's what we prefer here. So with that we have the gradient. In that case I would just do the second gradient as well, which is at the bottom. So I'll just do Control C and Control V to copy this, and then what I want to do is just flip this over, and you can just do this simply by moving the top line below the bottom line, and then we have the second gradient at the bottom. Then it comes to body copy. So we just create a text field, go here. As you noticed, or as you maybe remembered, the text was manufacturer, so this one, and then we can just say hey there, and right now it's way too small, so what did I do here? Let's set it at 100. And also you notice, okay, this one is pretty thin, so let's do a bold one, or maybe even black. If you can go even more, you can go heavy. I personally think it's a bit too much, so I'll do just black. And again, align it center. This is really helpful. And then we have the second text, which is basically just the same. So we just say use code welcome 10, etc. Just put all of this in here. And then one good thing you can do is press Alt and then move it to the side. And that way you kind of shrink both edges at the same time. And then place it in the middle. You can do the text alignment here. So just align it in center. I think I will do this a bit wider and also center it. And then this whole part is just, you can select different parts of the text and then highlight them. So for example, I could make this light now, and you would see that it's not that good to read. But for example, if I make it black, it's really good and it really stands out. So often the users just skim through the email and then they see, okay, hey there, welcome 10% off, and that kind of gets their attention, and then they read the whole text. I think this was not black, it was bold just. So yeah, we leave it at here. Then for the button, this is a bit more complicated, or probably the most complicated thing of this whole design. So we need a rectangle for it. We'll just do about this size. And then I like to do kind of a contrast, so I will use black for this. And now you see that this is a rectangle with normal edges. And up here you have a tool where you can set kind of the corner radius. And so for example, if we do 30, you know, it will be in this shape. But for example, if we do 100, it is a complete ellipse, and so on. And you can just play around with this. Also, if you only want, for example, small edges or small rounded edges, you can do 10. This is just something to play around with. I think I will leave it at 35 here. This looks pretty good. Maybe this is a bit too big. So I will just, it's a bit too small, just do about 60 here. And then you need a text inside. And for this text, we'll just say shop 10% off. With this font, there is one special thing, because you don't need to write capital letters because everything is capitalized for you. So that's why, yeah, the 10% is a bit bigger, but I personally like it because it puts more emphasis on it. Then maybe do this 45, maybe even do this for heavy, and then you just align it inside the button, and then you're ready. Then the image goes the same, just get a great header image. I personally like images where there are people inside and using the products, which really kind of gives it a human touch and it's not so robotic. And then for the rest, we basically go the same way. We just create text fields, and I will just copy this one over because I think you got the gist of it. And the whole thing goes for the rest. So this is basically then it's just, you can just play around with it and everything makes sense then. I want to touch upon one more stuff, and this is this block. So this is just a rectangle, and for the gradient I actually have an angular gradient. So as you can see here, maybe I will move this over a bit, I can kind of change in which direction it is going, how hard the gradient is, and so on. That's one I really like. One other stuff you can do, for example, with the linear gradient, is you can do a linear gradient and then move it around. So for example, the gradient goes from top left to bottom right. That is what I will do for this case here. And then it goes the exact same way. You take code or the text and then add it in here. One font that I really like is the Poppins font. I think it is a really clean look in here, and you can read it properly. And then at the bottom it's the exact same thing as before. So we take images, we paste them in here, we take text codes and place them in here, and let's just select more. So for example here, I will do 10% off, and then I will select these two as well and drag them over. One thing you notice now is that this button is above the text below it. So on the left side you have an arrangement, and then you can, for example, drop it down here, and now the 10% off is below it again. Then I like to center everything. You can also center everything not this way. You have to get them individually. So for example, now I'll go get this, and then you can just press Control and select everything here. I don't want the image, I only want this. And then you center it, and everything is centered then. And basically, that is how you get the designs. You can also play around with a few stuff. For example, now you see that this gradient is a bit is below the text. So for example, here we have this cool design that the yellow is above the protein powder. The same we can do here. So we just take the rectangle and move it to the top. And as you can see now, okay, here the yellow is in front of the text. Maybe it's a bit too high, so we move it a bit down. And that is how you make awesome designs. This is just the welcome flow, or the first welcome email, but it goes for every other email, basically the same. So if you have any questions, write them in the comments down below, and else I'll see you in the next video.